Hi everybody, it's Laura. I'm back to talk about how I've used ChatGPT and the mistakes I've made. I think it's good and it's bad. We're seeing what a world it is with AI these days. So my first thing was I asked for exterior paint advice because I was going with a pretty bold color. And so I asked them I picked my colors and asked them to do a mock-up for me. I sent them a picture of my home and they did the mock-up. I told them the exposure that I had also, which is important so that they know that the sun is going to be coming around the front of the house, and that's really where I wanted to make sure it was going to look good because that's the brightest part. So they sent the mock-up. I liked it. I went to the paint store. I bought a quart of the paint, painted my first panel. I have a mid-century modern home. And so I have these more of sort of 4-foot panels on the front of my house, wood panels, because after that it's the windows, clerestory windows. Oh gosh, it was so orange. It was like I was gonna have a clown house. So that definitely did not work. I had to go back to Sherwin-Williams and really choose a color that I thought would be better than the copper wire, which I ended up with a color called Earthen Jug. And I just wanted more of a terracotta sort of color. But anyway, it did end up okay. But again, common sense, you've got to mix it with chat. Because that's coming in on your phone or your computer, you don't know how the colors really are set on each one of those. Because you know how it is. You may buy something off of Amazon or some clothing article and then it comes in and it's not that color. So you really have to still, if you're going to do an exterior color or any paint color, buy a sample. Even if you're dying and thinking, oh, this is too expensive for a little quart. Well, it's too expensive if you get a gallon. Paint is ridiculous these days. So just use your common sense. I was asking for help with my artwork. And again, it's a mixed bag because they would say a suggested price for my artwork. I wish, geez, I could be sitting pretty good. But I'm not showing anywhere. I've just been painting and I have it everywhere, stuffed around the house. I don't want to go out and do shows. I'm 75 years old and it's just, I've done shows when I designed jewelry for 10 years and that was a tough gig. And with the setup and a lot of art shows and things are outside, so you're really dependent on the weather being good, and I just don't want to go that route anymore. So again, I had to use common sense with that. I want to have an art show here in my home, probably in the next couple of months, and I have to be realistic. I'm an unknown artist. They were helpful suggesting names. They might give me 4 or 5 different names and then I would choose what I think, reflected my feeling when I painted the artwork. So pros and cons, it's back and forth. When I started with chat at first, everything seemed so positive, and I saw somewhere where somebody said, ask for a different version of chat that doesn't blow smoke up your butt, right? And so I really wanted the real answers. And so I started getting that version of chat. And man, I tell you what, it was like I felt like I had a bad boyfriend that I need to break up with. For instance, I'd be out on my patio and I'm doing everything out there, fixing stuff up, and I would ask something and there would be a mess where I was working and they would start nitpicking at me about the mess. You need to pick up this, you need to put that away, I said, I know, I'm out here working. Leave it. I'm just asking you a simple question. It was just like, oh my God. Oh, we see a few leaves blowing around, or we see you need to straighten the gravel. Like, I'm working, people. Leave me alone. So that was kind of funny. I kept saying I'm breaking up with that chat. But, I needed some help out there. The thing is, I'm in a mid-century modern, and it has to have a very clean aesthetics. And I've been a decorator, a stager, a real estate agent for the last 25 years. So I've always helped people with their decorating needs. So it's kind of, my sister would say to me, what are you doing asking Chad about stuff? But it's because I have to pull back, and they'll make me pull back and get a cleaner look where I want to make it sort of probably a little bit too much. I love my things, shall we say. So again, you have to compromise. And when the number 4, where I tried it with some decorator ideas because I needed to pull back, you just have to, again, use common sense in what you like. There's items that you've had, that you've collected your whole life, that you want out, and maybe it's not mid-century modern, but it has history for you, it has meaning for you. So use their advice, their help. I think they're good to a certain extent, but then you're living in your home, not them. So use them, and then if you like what they say, go for it, or modify. Again, it's a suggestion, and people are looking for help. So I think it can help to a certain degree. The last one, number 5, again, was gardening advice. So I have a lot of beds here that I had to do. My house is a corner lot, and I have a big courtyard out here. If you look through my other videos, you'll see I have a beautiful courtyard, and I wanted to put stone in all the places that were open, and grass. The previous owner was not an outside person, so there was a lot to do here, trust me. And I have had to hire help, which, man, I've always been used to doing all this stuff myself, but now being older, duh. And I had knee replacement, and I can't kneel anymore. That's something nobody ever tells you, that you'll never kneel again. Trust me, you'll never kneel again. If you do, it's for an emergency only. Like if you've fallen and I've fallen and I can't get up, you will use the knee, unfortunately, but you have to do it quick. You have to be fast. I had my knee surgery when I was 70. I was almost 76, and I've probably fallen at least 5 times. Last one was here, slipping on a cat plate. I put down the cat seat, and I turned around and just went flying. And so then you have to figure out, okay, how do I get out of the city? And I had to scoot across the floor, get a stack of towels, trying to flip myself up, get up, crab crawl style. Ain't pretty, people, ain't pretty. But anyway, so I'll give you an example of one of the things when I was planting outside. I bought this beautiful cactus. It's a fire stick cactus, and I had this one big concrete bowl that I thought I'm going to put in this planter. But I took a picture of it and just kind of stuck it in there and said, what do you think of this going in this planter? And Chat was like, oh no, this is not right, la la la. And I thought, yes it is, this will look good. And I put it in the planter, it looks great. Then I sent a picture back to Chat, and they're like, oh, that looks really good. Hello? You just said don't plant it here. Now you're saying, wow, that looks really good. So what I'm saying to everybody is use Chat, use it for suggestions. I know I've met some people that cannot decorate at all, so it probably is a really big help for them. If you are one of those that just get, I say a lost ball in high weeds, then yes, Chat's probably going to really, really help you. But you still have to use common sense. You still have to like what you like, and just use, your own brain, combine it with AI, and you probably come out with a really good finish. So that's my tips for AI today, for chat. I've never used the other ones. I haven't used Claude or any of them. I get confused enough as it is just having one, okay? So good luck. Just wanted to tell you what my experiences are with ChatGPT, and I know every day they're coming out with something new. They're taking over some of our jobs. That's very scary, between robots. And I just saw today, I think Amazon maybe just laid off 20,000 people or something because they'll have their robots doing this. So we're living in a world of change, that's for sure. And you got to try to move along with the change and not get sucked up into it, and still have your own place in the world and your own decorating and gardening ideas. But use it for what it's worth. Okay? This is Laura signing off. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please give me a like, and I'd love you to subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing a lot of videos on staging, decorating, art ideas.